Mason, can I have a wee quick chat? I'm David Valentine from the Guerilla TV channel. It was just on the comments from Nicola Sturgeon yesterday, and that she was saying that if the Scottish Nationalist Party wouldn't be called the Scottish Nationalist Party, if you had your time again, have you got any comments on that?
Well, I think it was a combination originally of the National Party of Scotland.
Right.
And I've forgotten what the other one was.
Is it? Right, okay.
I think in the 1930s when they joined, there were two separate parties.
But what did she mean by it? I was trying to interpret what she was
I
actually...
have to ask her what she meant. I mean,
do you think that's common in the...
I'm comfortable with the name. I think the challenge is, you meet people from Germany and Denmark and places, and you say national to them. You say I'm a nationalist, and they interpret that differently from us.
What do you mean? The nationalism is right wing,
in some countries, yes.
And I don't want to say that because getting a joke like National Socialist, but you can be nationalist and socialist without being National Socialist.
Well,
you're national and left wing.
We'd say we're social democratic,
right?
So we're pretty well all left of centre. But some people would be more left of centre, more left. Some people would be more in the middle,
And what about? There's a million people in Scotland who voted for. To leave the European Union. What's your who is representing them in the Parliament as a whole, and who is the parties that they should vote for? Do you think if the million people that voted for to leave the EU, and do you think the Brexit Party is going to increase?
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of things kind of all mixed up in there, because if you're voting at a Scottish Parliament election, it's not a Brexit referendum. And it's even
I'm sorry, I apologise. I was talking about because there's obviously going to become, you're quite right.
So you really have to what I'm saying is that you have to look at every election or
individually and what it is.
That's right. And that's why we said we'll do a referendum for Scottish independence. So lots of people vote for SNP because they like our social policy or tax or whatever. But that doesn't mean they want Scottish independence. And that's fine. Now, people vote for me who don't want Scottish independence because they know that we'll have a referendum.
As an MEP, sorry, I apologise. Let me reframe that question, because it looks like we're going to have a Scottish election. A UK Westminster election. Sorry, I apologise. So under those circumstances, I know you're an MSP and it's not relative, as you rightly pointed out. But what's your thoughts? Who is the Brexiteers going to vote for out of the political parties in Scotland? I know, like the Scottish Libertarian Party are a Brexit party, and the Brexit Party, and obviously UKIP potentially for Britain. So who are the Conservative Party? Seems like there's quite a lot of Christian Democrats in it. So they seem like
it depends. Then it depends on what's the most important issue for people. Is the most important person in someone's life the most important thing Brexit? Or is the most important thing a fair tax policy? Or is the most important thing the environment? Or is the most important thing abortion? Or is the most important thing anything? So every individual will be different.
And so
I still want everyone to vote SNP.
Of course. But let me ask you, a Scottish stock market, what's your thought? We had 3 Scottish stock markets, and then all the money and all the thing that went down to Westminster. We would have to repatriate either in a Brexit max or an independence referendum. What's your thoughts on Scotland having a Scottish stock market again?
I'm comfortable with Scotland having a stock market. We could have it again, but I mean, we're in a world now where we're talking international, multinational countries. So I mean, you look at Coca-Cola now; they can be listed in lots of stock markets. But who controls them? Who taxes them? These are the big questions.
Very much.
So I don't think whether you have the stock market or not. I'm going across here. It's an issue, but I'm not sure.
But it would be if I was a local company, and I wanted to raise money locally, and there's different ways you could set up the stock market rather than the international stock market. Could be more. I mean, a stock market's just an ability to raise money through debt and equity funding. So it would be potentially beneficial for local companies to actually be able to have a mechanism to raise money through them.
Yes, I mean, I think that would be one of the arguments for it. But I mean, you can raise money. I mean, there's already, business angels. There's already capital. Let me finish.
Sorry, apologies.
So there are ways already of raising money. For a company locally. And when I was on the economy committee, we looked at that through Business Gateway. and the Scottish National Investment Bank is going to be there for raising money. So there are quite a lot of options, but I would certainly be comfortable about a Scottish stock exchange which gave another option.
Well, let me put this to you. I was doing a Masters at Strathclyde University in 2008. I was in the top 13 business plans for all the universities in Scotland. So that through the competition I was already identified. There was thousands of entrants, and I did not receive a penny from like the lottery, from anything. I had a £6.5 million project with Alex Ferguson backing it. It was for Jump Chapel amateurs to move location. I had set up a charity and didn't receive a penny. Stage 1 and Stage 2 financing is imperative. The banks will not come in unless you've got a working model, and to actually, you have to have an ability to access Stage 1 and Stage 2 funding so that you can get the website or the product up and actually operational before the banks will come in. I was just on the phone today to a lender who won't come in until the actual the product or the website or whatever it is actually operational.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're getting to a level of detail there that I probably
That's fine.
Do not know all the details. But I get the point that the banks will only come in at a certain stage, and we need more ways of people, certainly to start up companies, and the universities have been good at that, but also to grow companies, because one of the problems has been we've had Scottish companies that have grown a little bit and then been sold off. And we've got other companies. I mean, Skyscanner is an example.
Exactly,
it grew much bigger. Now, it has been sold off.
To the Chinese.
But they didn't. There's this thing called fear of heights that people are selling off too quickly. So, I mean, there's a whole range of issues. Which would
come back into the Scottish stock market thing if it was depending on what the dimensions.
It might, but I mean, there's still. I mean, the problem is once they get big enough, the number of people or organisations that could put the money in is limited. You know. So,
but then again, we could have Scottish pension money, Scottish public money invested in the Scottish stock market.
And there's been some movement on that already, because I used to be in Strathclyde Pension Fund, and they wouldn't invest anything because it was local, or at least just because it was local. Whereas now, I think there's a percentage, which Manchester did previously, that they're willing to really target locally. So, I mean, again, all I would say is that there's a wide package of these things, and we need to look at lots of different options. And I'm particularly enthusiastic about the Scottish National Investment Bank, because it will not be the right thing for everyone, but it will give another option, and that would be lending, or it's not grants as SE and HIE do, but it is another option for money.
I say, that's fine. That's fine. Can I just give you just one more? So I I spent a year developing a 200-page business plan. I submitted it to the DSL, and they said I had to rewrite, even though it was 200 pages long. They had an exec summary. The whole thing was perfect. They said I had to rewrite the full business plan because they only wanted 45 pages. They said that. They didn't even bother looking at the exec summary, which was 8 pages and which had most of the details summarised anyway. That's what the exec summary is. And I was denied any access to financing to start this up. This could have potentially been a multi-million-pound business. And the failure to actually allow me, I've never received one penny through grants, loans, anything for starting up a business. There's a flaw in the system.
I mean, I'm happy to accept the system isn't perfect, and I mean, America, I think there's a whole culture that you try and you fail the first one.
It's not. I can't even fail. I can't even get a stage yet because I'm not getting any financing.
I think a lot of people would agree that access to finance is a problem. I think your own individual case you would have to take up with your local MSP or your local MP and see and they can help you with challenging the bank and all that kind of thing.
Mr. Mason, thank you very much for being on the Guerilla TV channel. You're an absolute star. Thank you, and thanks for the answers. Great answers. Thank you. Well, that was very interesting. I think Mr. Mason seems to have his sort of finger on the pulse there. I think he's correct, but obviously the decision to whether or not to actually have a Scottish stock market is down to Westminster. It's a reserved issue, and unless there's some sort of increased Devo Max or an independence successful independence vote, then it's unlikely that we're going to get a Scottish stock market unless the SNP really push for it. Well, anyway, my baby Guerilla's finally got one, and that was quite interesting with Mr. Mason. So